Hey, so I'm going to basically record this video in like your typical 30 FPS, space saving resolution because I'm honestly tired of having this, of me recording videos and having it be like 3 to 8 GB. So, anyways, with that being said, let's get on with the main topic. I like all throughout today, right? I think I've come to terms with how I feel about everything that's happened, how everything unfolded, and I'm just gonna say it right now. I mean, I genuinely miss 2024. Like, I genuinely miss the year 2024. Now, was it a good year? Not really. I mean, I was addicted to nicotine. Like, I got heavily into vaping because I was, I don't know. But part of me wants to say it's because I wanted to try something different. But I feel like looking back at everything in hindsight, I think it's because at the time I felt like, I think like deep down I felt trapped. I felt trapped in my predicament. I felt stressed out all the time about where my life was heading, and I guess like subconsciously I ended up picking up this nasty habit of vaping, which I've been clean for over a year now. I haven't vaped at all since then. I haven't vaped at all since then, so it wasn't easy. It was very painful. I got a lot of migraines. My eyes were burning. Yeah, I was getting a lot of migraines. I was crying nonstop. Like, I was emotionally unstable. But anyways, that was last year. But yeah, back in 2024, I felt trapped in Viscom. I didn't see a way out. I didn't know what other routes to take. And this was before I gathered up the courage to gather some information and just overall just gather the courage to walk away from a program that was toxic, from a program that had a favoritism issue, from a program that had a bias issue, or in a program where basically subjectivity was something that either made you or screwed you over in the long run. And that's essentially what it was. It was just one big giant toxic program where it was just a lot of favoritism going on, and I guess deep down they knew that I didn't belong, and so they just kept trying to reject me, even though I wasted another year of my life trying to make it to tier 2, just for them to try to hold me back again later that same year in 2024. But anyways, I digress. I mean, yeah, 2024 wasn't a good year for me. I picked up a nasty habit of vaping. Well, I basically spent like the entire year and a half trying to kick the addiction, but I like relapsed like once or twice. But I managed to fully kick the addiction back in February of last year. But yeah, I would say 2024 was genuinely that last year in which it really felt like I actually had friends in a way, even though those friends were really just were just associates at best. I didn't really talk to anybody outside of school. It was I didn't really talk to anybody outside of school unless it was like school related stuff. I never hanged out with anybody outside of the university. Didn't do any of that stuff. Everybody was far away. Everybody was like on camp. Everybody was living on campus. Everybody took like the shuttle to go on campus. While me, I just commuted to the school because my university has a Dallas. I mean, has a North Texas location. Which is in Dallas, and I live in the city, so it only took me like 15 minutes just to drive to the Dallas location of the said university where my program was taking place at, and I would just go home. And the people that also commuted to the Dallas location, they're like in some like a weird obscure city that no one's ever heard of that's like an hour away, or you'll live in another major city that's also an hour away. So I didn't have any friends that were local to where I lived that was from Dallas. I basically was just alone pretty much. I only really had any sort of social interaction during the week when I actually had classes, that was related to Viscom, and it really did feel like my life was kind of moving forward when it came down to interacting with people, even though it really wasn't the same as it was back in high school. Even though deep down I knew that these people were gonna move on and I was gonna get left behind, like even back in 2024, I had that thought looming over my head that these people that they were going to move on and I was gonna be left behind, and what do you know, subconsciously I knew back then, subconsciously I knew back then that I was gonna be left behind and everybody was gonna move on, and I was just gonna be forgotten. I'm basically just treated I'm just like the invisible people or something. I don't fucking know. I mean, I know that's a crazy example, but that's really what it feels like. It feels like I'm not really seen as a person. I feel like I'm seen as somebody who just. I just feel like I'm only seen for the work I do, which at this point is just making, food on the food line at my job. I don't really feel like I'm seen as a human being. I don't really think people perceive me as a human being. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've been feeling pretty detached from my. I've been feeling pretty detached from reality, especially my surroundings. Like nothing really feels real to me anymore. And it pains me to say it. I don't really feel present anymore. I feel like I feel like everybody abandoned me, to say the least. I miss how things used to be. I miss the person that I used to be before I ended up getting diagnosed with diabetes. Back in 2020, back in February of 2023. I miss the person that I used to be. I miss how my life used to be. Pre 2020, back before the brain fog ever even started, because it all started with me having brain fog, and it just got gradually even worse in late 2022 when I had no choice but to go to the hospital. And now, fast forward to today, I'm now in debt with the hospital. I now have a disease that's gonna, that's now I have a disease that's just gonna burden my finances and my life for the rest of my life. And my dad was also being kind of a dickhead too when he said that I don't got much to live for anyways because I'm diabetic now. It's just like how he doesn't have much to live because it's just in our genetics. We have shitty life, and like our family, we just have shitty lifespans. And I'm like, well, that's not true. You're full of shit because I mean, grandma, she's still alive. I'm honestly, like, in a way happy that my grandmother got to live long enough to see me graduate from university. So I'm glad that she lived long enough to know that I did graduate from university. But so at least I have that going for me. But anyways, moving forward, back to 2024. So yeah, I almost checked into a mental hospital. I was stranded in Denton. I didn't have a way back home. My car was back at the hospital that was like close by to my house. I try to keep things on a down low by calling my aunt. My aunt didn't even bother to pick up the phone to call me back. She basically just decided to spread gossip about me in my situation in the background. And it was pretty quick too. It was pretty fast when my dad found out that about my whereabouts and me being at the fucking mental hospital. It was pretty quick. Like, it's just like when I found out how quickly my aunt started spreading gossip about me, I was just like, God damn it! How fucking miserable is this fucking family? How fucking bored and miserable is this fucking family? Where you guys just want to spread gossip and rumors and shit like that. And apparently it got so bad, right, that people in South Texas found out about me being about me almost checking into a mental hospital. It's like, like, you know, complete utter nobodies that that I don't even know exist, nor do I even give a fuck exist. You know, like, whoop de fucking do. We got family in South Texas. Are they gonna do anything about my predicament? Fuck no, because they don't give a shit. I'm just some to them. I'm just some random nobody, some random distant relative who they never met before and they never will meet before. And I have no interest in even knowing these fuckers either, because I don't know these fuckers. I don't know these idiots. They're nothing to me. You know, look, like, here's the thing, right? If my family is aware of what I'm doing, of what I'm going through right now, and they can't even be bothered to reach out to me, then they're nobodies to me. Like, why the fuck should I care about about what they think if they can't even be bothered to reach out to me and ask me if I'm okay? And and because of the fact that you know, my aunt did that bullshit and couldn't even be bothered to call me back to say to say like like if she got me or not, you know, if she got me like a ride home, just because she did that shit, just because she instigated a bunch of shit, all because she hates my dad. I no longer go to my grandmother's house. I don't, because she lives there. Yeah, my aunt, who's in her 40s, same age as my father. She has she has like I think she has two baby daddies. You know, both got her pregnant. One is a piece of shit jailbird. The other one, I don't know where he's at. I mean, I would say when it came down to her baby daddies, right? Like, I would say with her first one, I was pretty cool with him. He was a nice guy, you know. I mean, apparently, like, the only issues that he really had was that he had a drinking problem, and and I feel bad for him too, because when she told me everything about like his backstory, right? Like basically most of his family disowned him because he was dating because they found out he was dating a Hispanic woman, which was my aunt. So yes, my whole family are all Hispanics. I'm Hispanic. This white skin you see on me, that's my Spaniard heritage showing, I guess. Wait, let me take off my glasses real quick. Do I look brown enough to you? Anyways, but yes, I mean, last time I heard anything about him, right? I think my aunt told me that he was working at Taco Bell, just like I am, because like that's also the only company that that accepts him, just like me at this point. But I don't know what he's up to. I'm hearing that he's homeless. I'm hearing he works at Taco Bell. I don't know, but he does seem to care about me still. Like my aunt told me, like, well, back when my aunt and I we used to talk to each other, right? Um, she did tell me that he does ask about me from time to time. Like he's like very excited about my whereabouts. He's asking how I'm doing, and she's like, he's doing fine, you know. But anyways, and then like the other baby daddy that she's with, that she also had a child with, like he's some piece of shit jailbird who has no car, so he took her car, and basically he's the one working while she just sits on her ass and just collects, you know, government assistance because she has the two kids. That's basically that's basically how she's treating these kids. She's treating them as, you know, as government assistants, you know, as a free check from the government. While people like me, I have to bust my ass, right? and like I would see it like one third of my check goes towards bum asses like her that don't want to fucking work. So basically, like, I would say like $20-$30 is taken off my check just to go towards bums like her. No, I never been good at math. I never been good at fractions. I always sucked at math. So if you guys can do the math in the comments, go on ahead and do it. I won't stop you. But yes, but yeah, overall, you know, 2024 was yeah. It was kind of an all right year. I was doing pretty well in the spring semester, and then July came around, and my family and I we went to Hawaii. It was overrated, honestly. Hawaii, it was kind of like more of the same, really, to be honest with you. I mean, Hawaii was really just more of the same, but except everything was a lot more expensive over there than how it is here. Like even my parents were commenting that they're like shit. I'm so glad that we're back here in Texas where everything's cheaper. And I'm just like, and I was like, man, and I was like, it kind of gave me a bit of a perspective shift. It's like, damn, like we kind of do have it better here in Texas, like, when it comes down to the prices. Like things aren't as bad here than it is compared to like Hawaii, but it's still pretty bad, you know. It's still pretty bad. So but yeah, but then later that year it led to the whole like mental hospital debacle, and my sister, she ended up picking me up and driving me back to Denton, and she was upset about the situation like I was, and I basically told her about the situation and what happened, and like my dad calling me while I was in like the when I was like in the lobby waiting for my sister to come pick me up, and I told her the situation, and I basically told her, and then basically we both came to the agreement that we need to like just delete that I need to delete my aunt off my contacts and just never call her. I just never hit her up ever again, and that's basically what I did. You know, I deleted my aunt off my contacts, and I never spoken to her since. Fuck her. You know, and but yeah, but later that same year, I was busting my ass working on these like UI UX projects. You know, spending like countless hours working on on Adobe XD, making a bunch of like app prototypes, sketching how it's gonna work, doing X, Y, and Z. Like basically spending like basically just staying up late at night, like all these nights, and just for them to basically just for the professors and the faculty basically just reject my portfolio once again, and basically just tell me to go fuck myself. And they basically were just trying to hold me back again. And well, the options that they gave me, they weren't very good either. Like basically what I got off of this was either stay until 2026, which obviously that was a hell no, or stay with them and graduate with them. But here's the catch. I can't show up at the graduation ceremony with my peers. So basically they'll let me graduate, but I won't get to show my face, meaning that I basically got blacklisted from even showing up to the graduation ceremony, like as if they're ashamed of me. But everybody else gets to show up, and everybody else gets to be exposed to people that are in the industry that can speak for them and give them connections at the ceremony. So when I was looking at both outcomes, I was like, nah, y'all can kiss my ass. At this point, it's blatantly obvious that you guys are embarrassed of me. I'm seen as an outcast, so fuck y'all. I'm gonna go. It was a hard decision, so I basically decided to change my program, and basically just decided to either get a bachelor's of arts, or get a bachelor's of general studies. Now, when it came down to the bachelor's of arts, I instantly crossed that down. I basically crossed that out when I found out that I had to know a foreign language in order to get the bachelor's of arts. But since I knew that I was running out of time to graduate, I basically said, "Fuck the bachelor's of arts. I'm gonna get the bachelor's of general studies instead." So, and so luckily for me, everything was online, so I didn't have to drive to Commerce to take the 4 classes. Everything was online. So I basically spent the last 5 months of university basically just taking my classes online and working at at like this at a fast food place that was in Mesquite, which was like 15 minutes away from where I lived. So that's basically what I was doing for the past 5 months until I thought I could finally get a real fucking job for a change, and then this whole bullshit with the job market happened, and I basically was unemployed for 9 months until late January of this year, when I basically had no choice but to choose to go back to working fast food again, because my life and my circumstances gave me no choice, and it was really, and fast food was really like the only type of type of place or places that will actually hire me and take me seriously as a candidate. So I had no choice. I had to take it, and I'm basically have been stuck working fast food ever since. You know, all the way out there in some town that's like 30 minutes away from here, and that's basically where I'm at now. You know, and I just and I don't know. I kind of just miss 2024 when things felt a lot more. I don't know, alive, I guess. But I mean, that's all I gotta say. I mean, I feel like I've been abandoned. I feel like I've been forgotten, and I feel empty inside. Not gonna lie to you. And just feel like I wanted to share that real quick. Well, not really. I mean, this video is going on for like almost 21 minutes, so I'll cut it off here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.